You know, folks, there's an old saying that you can have too much of a good thing. And honestly, sometimes that turns out to be true. You can have too much of a good thing and then not want it anymore. You know, there are people out there, if you will, that have the ability to have what is considered too much of a good thing. And sometimes it really doesn't bother them. It doesn't. You see, my older sister, I mentioned this in my vlog, I think. She bought a year-long pass, and who knows, she might buy another one. But she bought a year-long pass for her and her family. And this year-long pass is a Disneyland pass. So essentially, she's got to basically use it throughout the year. Now, I don't know if she's done using it, or if she's going to be using it one more time. No one really knows. But when she started using it, it kind of surprised me and my family a little bit. Well, my other sister, she knew she probably got it, and I think my mom knew. But what surprised us at times was, she would go 1 month, and then we're thinking, well, she'll probably wait, maybe she'll just do a 3 times a year deal. No, she's done more. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. You see, for a lot of us out there financially, just being able to go to Disneyland once or twice in our lives is great. It's a dream come true. To be able to go 3 times is even better. But like I said, to go once or twice, it's grand. It's grand because we get to see more, we get to do again what we had done before. But you see, there's a problem. Financially, as much as we want to keep going and going and going, financially we can't afford it. So like I said, when you get to go maybe once or twice, that's just as good as anything. I mean, when I got these magnets last year, I got them at Disneyland. So far, it's been my only trip. Now, would I like to go again? Of course I would. I'd love to go again. Every opportunity I hear my older sisters go, and I'm thinking maybe if I ask them to let me go with them. But then again, maybe not. But you see, right now, so far, just once for me is something I'm always going to hold on to. Once for me right now, my first time is always going to be something special because it's my first time. I mean, I have literally made 2 DVDs of that trip. One through Windows DVD Maker as of this year, celebrating 1 year of doing it. And I'm making a DVD last year of doing it, and giving away copies to my family. I mean, to get to be able to do some of the things I did at Disneyland last year was unbelievable. I mean, there are some things I didn't do, like Splash Mountain, but I did other things as well. I did the Grizzly Falls, I think that's what it is, with the tire thing. I went on Tower of Terror. Yeah, Tower of Terror. I went on that and had fun. Wouldn't mind doing it again. What? Went in the Haunted Mansion. You see, I did just about anything you can think of except for a few other things. I posed with Mickey Mouse. I posed with Max. I mean, what more can you ask for? But you see, being able to get to do a lot of that within one trip is things. Yeah, I kind of didn't know if I admit I didn't think I was going to end up staying one more day, but I did. Because I was prepared to come back sooner, but, God had a reason for me staying, and there you go. So, yeah. And I admit I got a little tired the last night we were there, but that was my, hey, I put that on myself. But the point is, just for those 4 days, to be able to do what I did, to be able to do both parks, is saying something. It's really saying something. To be able to do both parks. It's saying something. To go on the Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters with my nephew. It's like, it's to go on Roger Rabbit's Spin Drive, to go on the Monsters University, on the Monsters Inc. ride. I mean, how much more can you ask for? And again, that's only my first trip. And like I said, sometimes people financially can only afford to do one or two trips. A lot of people, I'm pretty sure like my sister, would suggest your best cost-saving way of going is to buy a year-long pass. A year-long pass to go. And you know what? I may end up doing that in the future. I may end up doing that. But you see, even though that would be cost-saving, still in the end, financially, how are you going to get down there? Financially, what happens if gas goes up? Financially, what happens if rates in hotels go up? You see, these are things people always have to consider. Even if you have that year-long pass. But again, this all goes back to is having too much of a good thing, is having something to, basically, is having a good thing too much. It's having more of a, basically, like I said at the beginning, ending with that old saying, it's having too much a good thing. Is having too much of a good thing enough? Or is it overdoing it? Again, I'm not denying that if you have a year-long pass to any resort or theme park, like Disneyland or Universal Studios, that you shouldn't capitalize on it. You shouldn't capitalize on it and say, I'm going to do it. You should do it. You should capitalize and do it. But you don't. But you don't. You don't capitalize on it. You don't do it. Because financially you can't afford it. But when you finally get that opportunity to go just once in your life, to be able to do what many people in your family have done before you, that's enough sometimes. And if you can, you're always going to want to go back again. But you got to wait for the opportunity to present itself. And it presented itself for me last year. And it's going to present itself for me again very soon. I feel it's coming. But the thing is having too much of a good thing too much? Or should you spread it out? You know, people, when it comes to Disney theme parks, especially here in the United States, people's main goal, the number one goal over all else, is to do both parks. Yeah, if you live in California, or you live close enough to the vicinity, your goal is to do Disneyland, and if that's all you can do, so be it. But if you could do, or you live on the East Coast or close to it, your main goal is to do Disney World. If you could do it, so be it. So be it. But you see, that's just the thing. That's the main goal of any Disney fan, of any person that's been, it's just, that's the goal of anyone when it comes to Disney, and to visit both parks. But financially, sometimes, unless you have all the money in the world, unless you're the richest of the rich, if you're financially well off, those are the only ways you'll be able to go. But if you're not, and you can only do it once or twice to go to one theme park, then you do it. That's your main goal. And that's also why sometimes when Disney does their shows, their stage shows, the live stage shows, either it's the on-ice shows or the live stage shows, when they bring them to a town, people always jump at it because it might be the only opportunity to get close to Disney. It might be the closest thing to going to a place like Disney World or Disneyland. But you see that, and you see, some might think, well, it's only a 2-3 hour, it's only like an hour and a half, 2 hour show. Why would you want to go attend it? You're not going to pose with any of the characters. That's where you're wrong. I think you do pose with the characters afterwards. But the thing is, folks, people, for a lot of people, Disney on Ice, or some of the live Disney shows, is the closest they're ever going to get. And sometimes that's satisfactory for them. Because at least they could say they saw Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, Goofy, Clarabelle, Aladdin, Jasmine, in person. They could say that. They could say they saw them in person without having to go to Disney World, without having to go to Disneyland. As a matter of fact, I remember, I'm not sure if it was here it was in the Sacramento region. I don't think it was. It was either in Sacramento, or I think it might have been in Kansas City, my last Christmas there in Kansas. But I remember one of the news stations, I think it was KMBC out of Kansas City, showcased the lighting of a Christmas tree in one of their areas, in one of the main sections of Kansas City. And who were the two characters there to help light that tree? Mickey and Minnie. And no, I'm not talking about people just dressed up in regular costumes looking like Mickey and Minnie. No, the actual Mickey and Minnie were there. And if I would have known that, I would have done anything I could to go down there to at least get a picture with them. But that never happened. It didn't happen with Mickey until now, until recently. Hey, Get a picture of Minnie? Complete. Have a picture of both Mickey and Minnie, that's perfect. What I'm trying to say, folks, is just being able to be close to characters like that is good enough for people. Because that's the closest they'll probably ever get. But again, the question is having too much of a good thing too much? Will you be overdoing yourself? Will you be enjoying too much of a good thing so much that you'll get sick of it? I mean, I can see my sister right now. She will never get sick of going to Disneyland as much as she can. She never will. I guarantee you this. There are people that live in Anaheim, that live in close walking proximity of that theme park, that never get tired of going on the weekends. Yeah. To them, Disneyland is like just a regular local park to them. All they have to do is just walk over to the park, see how much it is for a day, say, here you go. Walk in, and it's like, yay, I'm in Disneyland for the 400th time. And you know what? To them, you might say, well, to them you might think, is that how much? To them, if you were to walk up to a person like that, you'd be like, how many times do you do this? How many times is enough? When is enough for you? Basically, that's what you'd be asking, like, when is enough enough? And they'll look at you and they'll be like, it's never enough. I don't know what you're talking about. It's just like a regular park we walk into. It's an everyday thing for us, or an every weekend thing for us. And here's why, because they live in that proximity. They can walk, they can ride bikes, they can ride buses. Doesn't matter. For those people that live right in that proximity, it's no big deal. And we're not talking about, and here's the thing, we're not talking about people that live in that proximity because they work. We're talking about people that live there just like you and me. I mean, honestly, if Disneyland was right there, in that park area, well, I'm pointing right there, right across from us. If Disneyland was right there, and my house was right here, and I had the money, do you not think I would take the advantage to go to Disneyland? Of course I would. Of course I'd take that advantage. If I knew my mom was working and everything, and I wanted something to do, and I saw Disneyland right there, or I knew Disneyland was in the proximity of where I lived, of course I'd go down there for the day. I'd go down there, and then let's say I'd go down there around the time they would open, and I would come back before they closed, and she'd be like, well, where were you? What'd you do today? Oh, I went to Disneyland. See, and that's probably what some people do in the Anaheim area. That's probably what they do. They probably do that. Let's say, let's say the kids are being babysat by the grandparents or the aunts and the uncles, and because mom and dad are working, what do you think the grandparents or the aunts or the uncles do if they have the money? They take them to Disneyland for the day. And you see, you might say again, when is enough for them? But for those kind of people that live in the Anaheim vicinity of Disneyland, it's never enough because it's just like an everyday thing for them. It's like an everyday thing. I lived in Lawrence, Kansas, and of course, the major thing there in Lawrence, Kansas was Kansas basketball and football. Mostly Kansas basketball. And I've only been in Allen Fieldhouse once, and that was for a women's game. That was it. I've been in Allen Fieldhouse once, and that was for a women's game. But here's the thing, just because I was there once, didn't mean I went again. I mean, I went inside Allen Fieldhouse. I did. I didn't go inside to where the court was, but I've been in Allen Fieldhouse several times just to look at some of the memorabilia they had there. But did I ever attend more games after that? No. I didn't. I didn't attend any more games. And here's why. Because I couldn't afford it. And just because I lived there didn't mean I had the money to keep going to every single game. And the same thing with Memorial Stadium. I couldn't afford sometimes to go in there sometimes. I went like once or twice for a game. And that's it. Once or twice. Iowa State and Florida Atlantic. That's it. Once or twice. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. But you see, as strange of a comparison as that might be, that's the best you're going to get. You know, that's the best, that's the strange of a comparison as that is. That's basically what I'm saying. Just because I lived in proximity of them didn't mean I always went. It didn't mean I always went. I mean, I heard the reactions and all that because I lived within distance of them. But I never really went that much at times. You know, we had other theme parks 60 miles away from us. Worlds of Fun, Oceans of Fun. And I've been there 2 times. Yeah, 2 times. I can think of 2 times, I believe. When I was in high school and for my birthday. And that's it. I've been to Oceans of Fun. I've been to Worlds of Fun. Twice. And that's all I've ever gone to them. All I've ever gone. Twice. And you know why? Because me and my dad couldn't afford it. The first time was because of a special class thing going on. The special field trip, class award or something like that for my high school, I think for home ec or something like that, I can't remember. Or FHA, I can't remember. But we went there, and that was fun. Same thing. Same thing. We went there for that and Oceans of Fun, and it was great. But here's the thing. We couldn't afford to. But here's the thing. Even after that, when my dad took me later on, that was the last time I went. I think about 2 times there. In the span of a few years, in the span of what? 3-4 years. And even though it was 60 miles away, we couldn't afford to go because of gas, because of the gas it would take, and the fact that admission didn't cost as much as it does for Disneyland, but still, admission costs. Costs a pretty penny, if you know what I mean. So still, had to do that. So still, you know, you get what I'm saying, right? You get what I'm saying. It's more along the lines of sometimes you should just be happy you get to go to a main theme park, a world-renowned or nationally known theme park once or twice in your life. And again, I'm not trying to discredit, I'm not trying to discourage anybody that has a yearly or annual pass. You want to use your yearly or annual pass to keep going? Fine. That's your decision. But again, the question is sometimes a good thing, is it too much of it? But sometimes, is too much of a good thing too much? Does it get to the point of where maybe you don't want to keep doing it anymore? Or let's say you want to keep doing it, but somebody else that you take along with you doesn't want to keep doing it. What's the big deal? What's the big deal with that? Is too much of a good thing too much? Let me put it like this. Again, one more example. Great America. I've never been to Great America in my whole life until a few years ago. Finally went there. And as a result, one of my cameras died. Yeah. I took my camera, I think on one of the rides. I was sitting next to my older sister. Next thing I know, I get off, camera's broken. Right? Still got pictures out of it, but camera, basically the back area where you would see the pictures, gone. I know, stupid of me. But I think I still got some pictures out of that anyway. But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, I've only been there once. Would I like to go again? Yeah, of course. But when the time presents itself, when the opportunity presents itself. I've never been to Universal Studios. I hope to go someday. You see, these are all opportunities that financially you need money to do. And again, I know people will say, well, why don't you just get yearly or annual passes? That saves you money. Yeah, they save you money. But in the end, what are you going to do after you used up that annual pass, that yearly pass, and suddenly they raise the prices? Are you going to keep doing them? Or are you going to do another one? Or are you going to just say, you know what, we'll just save up? You see, that's the question a lot of people always ask. Well, always wonder, I should say. They always ask and wonder. But again, I know I'm sounding like a broken record here, but is having a good thing too much? Is it too much? It's basically like, again, the question is having too much of a good thing too much? I mean, again, like I said, there are people that can only do once or twice in their lives. Take one or two trips to Disneyland, Disney World, whatever, Universal, Great America, Worlds of Fun, whatever, any theme park, once or twice in their lives, because that's all they can afford. And sometimes that's enough for them. And sometimes doing Disney on Ice and Disney Life stage shows is enough. But even if they could afford a yearly pass or an annual pass, is it too much of a good thing to want to keep using it, or do you want to spread it out? I mean, I know there are people that spread it out from spring, summer, and fall. They do. They said spring, summer, and fall, and that's a 3-time deal. But is it too much of a good thing too much? That's the thing. So, that's all I'm going to say. I provide you with that question. Let me know down below. Let me know if you guys have experienced this, and what's your opinions. And I'll talk to you all later. God bless. Take care.